The first half of Casting Kill was amazing. It seemed really promising, like it was going to go into a really dark and dangerous area. And the second half just felt really flat. I'm not going to say what happens in the second half, just in case you do decide to watch it. I guess I recommend it. You might enjoy it more than I did, but I feel like it had so much potential, and it just didn't deliver. This was released in 2023. It's directed by James Smith, it's written by Caroline Spence, and we have a cast including Rob Laird, Rachel Chima, Jack Forsyth-Noble, Andrew Elias, and various others. And I loved the concept. The concept is what drew me to this. It's about a fake casting director, somebody who was posing as a casting director, and he's meeting all of these actors. And I have to say, the thing that unnerved me about this is that watching it unfold, and I'll explain what he does in a moment, not in any detail, I won't spoil it, but it just seemed so believable. It genuinely seemed like this could happen, because he's asking the actors to do a reading, and then he asks them to try something else. Try closing your eyes, don't turn around, stay focused, and he walks around behind them, and in their vulnerable state, well, the poster for this is him holding up a belt. So you can imagine what happens next. And we don't get to see a lot of that, but it seemed like it was going in that direction, like it was going to be really dark and brutal. And he was meeting all of these actors, and in their moment of vulnerability, while they've got their guard down, while they're obviously focusing so much on trying to impress this casting director, he's able to take advantage of the situation and do significant harm. And as I said, I was watching it unfolding thinking, I hope nobody gets any inspiration from this, because it's so believable. It's so simple yet so clever at the same time. In the first half of the film, things seemed to be building and getting darker, and the character of the casting director was really great. He was getting a lot stronger as a character, both not in terms of physical, but in terms of how well he was written, and he was becoming more, well, creepy. And then it just kind of fell apart. And for me, I think the turning point, I won't say exactly what happens, but somebody comes looking for their girlfriend. And that, for me, kind of was the turning point. It just stopped being that interesting from there. So they could have made it so much better, so much stronger, so much darker. But after that point, the darkness was very weak. Not a lot happened. And I didn't like the direction the narrative went in either. It wasn't just the lack of thrilling aspect, but ultimately what happened I didn't love either. That might be down to personal preference, but I do think it just stopped being creepy, and it also stopped being as believable as well. So the first half, amazing. Maybe not the first half, certainly the first third. It doesn't instantly drop off, but it had a very, very strong start. I thought this was going to be an amazing film, and the beginning absolutely was. But then it became really weak, and it also went in a direction I didn't care for. So a tiny bit of personal preference, but also I just feel like it became so weak and stopped being creepy, stopped being scary. I stopped believing that this could happen. So great concept, initially very well executed, some really great performances, very believable environment. The atmosphere, I believed, the location felt believable, just everything about the setup I felt could happen. And that's what made it scary. And then it fell apart. So I do recommend it. You might enjoy the second half more than I did. And I think that first half is absolutely worth watching. But in my opinion, I'd say don't expect it to continue being that good. But I'd say it's still worth giving a chance. So I do recommend it. It could have been so much better. But ultimately, Casting Kill was still an interesting experience.